Keith in the picture.
How y'all doing, everybody? This is Western Bourbon Society. We're back again. I made sure I put the mic down there by Liz, so she can hear you. There you go. So you probably couldn't hear over me anyway. So
I know, right?
Everybody, this is Kevin,
Keith, John,
Leslie.
Awesome. And here we are again doing another bottle review. It's Monday night. You can see Monday Night Football is playing on the TV behind us. So if you want to see the score, you can probably see it back there. But pay attention to us, not the score.
Because you already seen the game.
We talking about
Bourbon over football any day, y'all.
Bourbon over football. Yeah, we're gonna make a shirt that says that. Bourbon over football.
Oh, yeah.
So tonight we're doing a wonderful review of the Smooth Ambler Big Level. The Big Level is the first Smooth Ambler their own distillate, right? Because usually they're a non-distillate product, non-distillate producer that buys liquor from other people. But now this is their first own product. It's 100 proof. It is a wheated bourbon, and it's batch number 12, bottled by Sarah. If that means anything to you. Again, it's 100 proof, and I don't know the age on it. Is it 2 years, 4 years? What's the age? Do anybody know here? I'm not sure what the age is on it, how many years. It doesn't say, so it just says wheated bourbon, straight bourbon whiskey. So if it says straight bourbon whiskey, it has to be at least 2 years, right? Yeah. Between 2 and 4 years, but at least 2 years to be able to not have an age statement on it. So we're thinking it's between 2 and 4 years, but it's definitely a wheated product.
Most likely it doesn't have it listed.
Yeah, it doesn't have it listed on the back there. Alright, so like always, we're going to do two things. We're going to sniff it, then we're going to drink it, and then we're going to drink it with a little bit of, I got some limestone water here. Now usually 100 proof is where I say, if it's under 100 proof, don't add limestone water, but at the 100 proof mark, we test it with limestone water. So it might taste like crap with limestone water, but we got to try that because that's what we do with all of our videos. And then afterwards, we're going to do a bottle, buy the bottle, buy it at a bar, or bust it really sucked, we didn't even want to drain pour. And then we do a scale of anywhere from 60 to 100. So 60 to about 72 is, good mixing bourbon. Anywhere from 72 to 80 is, really good sipping bourbon, your everyday sippers. 80 and up, 80 to 89 is, a really good sipper, like a special occasion type bourbon. And from 90 to 96 is like, God's piss. So God's teat milk or something. So that's how we do our ratings, just to let you know, so you know ahead of time. All right, so we're going to start off with a little sniff. Oh, Jesus.
It's like a hidden, back smell, and we're trying to grab it.
Well, like John mentioned earlier, it smells very weedy. I mean, it's straight smells all day.
Very weedy, very grainy. I'm a country boy. I'm from deep South Georgia.
Kind of like a rice.
Georgia.
So exactly, it smells like.
And if y'all didn't hear me, I said a rice grain.
Grits.
Yes.
Like barley or malt or oats.
Barley, malt, any type of
From
grain.
the backwoods of the mill. Kind of that grinding of when you're getting ready for the mill work. That's kind of the smell you get from it. And that's why I'm like, gosh, I know this smell and I just can't grab it. And I think that's really what it is. Kind of like flashback to childhood.
I'm definitely a fan of the nose.
Yeah.
Particularly because this is a wheated bourbon from Smooth Ambler. I'm a very big Smooth Ambler fan.
That's your guy right down there. You like Smooth Ambler.
Unlike some at the table, I'm a big Smooth Ambler fan. And most of their products are rye forward. And with this being a wheater on that nose, you immediately smell that. You can tell that this is a wheated bourbon. So I'm definitely looking forward to how this kind of opens up and how it actually tastes. If the taste matches the nose.
Now I do want to note that this bottle's been open for about 4 months. I've been waiting on the gentleman in the middle right there to come over because he's a Smooth Ambler fan, so we're waiting on him to do this bottle review. Everything else is pretty much we opened it, popped it, and reviewed it. But for him, we've been drinking through a lot of it, so it may have dulled down a little since the beginning.
Good things come to those that wait.
Those that wait. There you go.
You ready for the taste?
All right, let's take a taste, everybody.
Wow, that's smooth.
Tastes as good as it smells.
It
tastes like how it smells to me.
Every once in a while, the taste of a bourbon can typically be a little bit different than the nose. I immediately think of kind of like the Stitzelweller juice. When you look at Stitzelweller juice, it smells one way and typically tastes a different way. This wheated bourbon, as weedy and grainy as it smelled, it tastes just as weedy and grainy.
Phenomenal. Yeah, it actually
It
matches
tastes
the smell.
like I'm sipping wheat. It really does.
Wow.
It almost tastes like old corn whiskey,
You
like
feel
a
the
corn
warmth.
whiskey, like a corn whiskey, real.
Well, you feel the
sucky,
warmth,
yeah.
and
This is good.
it gives a high delivery of flavor, matching the smell. It's nothing like super sweet, but it's definitely got that mill back home taste. But it's actually really good.
Yeah, it's definitely not sweet. It definitely most bourbons, things of that nature, bring a lot of sugar with it. And the sugar content is definitely here because you can taste the grain in the mash bill. But this tastes so weedy. If you're a fan,
Just make sure it's turned all the way up. Sorry guys, I was just making sure it was turned all the way up for Les down there. I kill her every time, honey. I'm sorry, but her voice is so soft. They said they can't hear her.
I believe. Wait, no, it's not soft. It's sultry.
Sultry.
Now, Kevin.
I'm sorry, I do not have project, but that's only when I actually overtake the gentleman and really talk with a strong opinion.
But she's
besides
yelling
that,
at us.
Sometimes, yes, sometimes, but you know what? It's out of love and feeling. But
It is. She's
honestly,
kind
kind of in a way, yeah. But honestly, this is something I really enjoy. This is
Okay.
actually really good. It's got like that all round mixture of flavors that it gives that you taste the natural sweetness, as John
Yeah.
kind of mentioned, and you can kind of taste a little more of the age. I know it says like, you know, it's a younger kind of batch year. It doesn't give that delivery of the younger year. I felt like it's kind of a little more matured.
It does drink like that. It is very smooth for as young as it probably is. But it still gives you what they call that Kentucky hug. You still feel like you're
Oh,
drinking-
definitely. It's got
you're
that
drinking.
warmth going down. It's kind of like that, ooh, that kind of sinks upon you. That kind of was like,
Mhm.
nice.
Now, for Kevin,
Yeah.
for you, who is a fan of wheated bourbons, if you don't know, you probably do if you've been tuning in for a little while.
Look at our reviews. Go back to our reviews.
Let's look at our reviews. Kevin is a big fan of wheated bourbon,
He is.
especially the higher age varietals. I'm interested on what your take on something like this is, because it is wheated, what you like, but it is a little bit younger, so it's a little bit more, I don't want to say abrasive, but a little bit more aggressive than styles of bourbon that you typically drink.
Right. So for me, yes, I like weeded. And the reason I like weeded is because I don't like the burn. Okay. I am not a fan of the burn. I tell everybody all the time, I'm a little girl when it comes to the burn. I don't like any of the burn. That's why I like the higher aged stuff, because it's nice and even. I also like the flavors that are in a lot of those higher aged whiskeys. I just feel, and I'm not knocking Smooth Ambler, you were right, all y'all are right. The taste tastes just like the smell, and there's no fruit, there's no sugar, there's no, that. So like I'm a classic Heaven Hill and Old Forester Brown Foreman fan.
And he is.
Yeah, and I will rate those higher just because I love them. So that's why I say everybody listen to everybody else when I review one of those bottles. Same thing with you. You're a Smooth Ambler guy, so you're gonna rate this better than anybody else would because you love Smooth Ambler. You're a Smooth Ambler guy. But it does taste. Since it's been opened, it burned when I first tasted it. When I first tasted it, it burned my face off. It was like a Stag Junior.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? Right.
So the amount of time that the bottle has been open has really settled that down, because
Yes.
as I've been drinking it after it's been open for how many months?
You said
4 months,
6?
yeah, about 4 months.
So it's been open for about 4 months, and as I tasted, that burn isn't there. You get a little bit of warmth on the back of your tongue, so you do know that you're drinking whiskey, like you're
Right.
drinking a real drink. But burn, in terms of when you swallow it, that whole warm feeling that you typically get from strong bourbons, isn't there.
Hold on,
Which
say
is
that last
because
part again.
the burn,
Mm-hmm.
Because of the wheat, right? Yeah.
Because of the wheat. When you're drinking stronger bourbons, like myself, for point of reference, like Kevin gave his.
The only reason why I called him out on this is because this is really good information to take for people that are learning it.
My absolute favorite bourbon is Booker's. It's cash strength. It's strong. It's bold. It's in your face. When I drink bourbon, I like for it to let my body know that I'm drinking bourbon. I like to feel it inside.
Well, so
John's
been missing for a couple of our actual tastings, and the kind of reason why I'm pointing this out is because he's got a different palate from the 4 that are sitting here. So even though I kind of lean to this one being wonderful tonight, he kind of has a little different palate from the rest of us. So I kind of want to point out what his intake is. So you can kind of get the full aspect of this particular bottle and his palate to it, because I want to make sure you get his, where Kevin's very heavy wheat, and me and Keith are kind of like that different realm from Kevin and John, where we kind of sit in that middle realm.
Yeah.
So
and let me explain it like this. I had a bottle of Stag Junior. I took a shot of it. I was like, oh my God, my face is burning off. He took a shot of it with me, same bottle, out the bar. We were at Wrecking Bar, and he was like, I love it. It's fantastic. I gave the bottle to him because I just couldn't. Yeah. I mean, like literally, my face felt like it was melting off. Like I could just peel my face off. I mean, like I was done after that. But he loves that. He likes the thick, burn. I like thick, which is another thing I wanted to clear on by this. It's thin. It is very thin. If you look at it, it's a nice yellowish amber color.
It is. The legs aren't there.
Yeah, legs aren't there.
Which is indicative of a young
really
distillate. We talked about earlier how we couldn't find the age statement on the bottle, and it tastes like a younger wheat because it does still have a little bit of bite to it. But those legs aren't there, and typically when you age bourbon, the longer you age it, the thicker the legs are. So we can tell that it is a pretty young distillate.
Right, between 2 and 4 years, which is probably what it is. And then we're gonna add, since it is 100 proof, we're gonna add just a dip of this limestone water. Now, if you don't know, limestone water is what they distill bourbon with, so it's supposed to bring out some of the flavors and some of the profile of the actual bourbon. Might make it smell fruity or whatever, notes, chocolatey, whatever it is that's supposed to come out of bourbon. You don't want to do that? Okay.
You got it. Come on.
You gotta try it.
It's for science.
It's for science.
Y'all know me. Y'all know me.
Look, I'm in the scrubs. I'm ready for
Nice
science.
light.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just came from work, so I'm all,
So y'all know
still
I'm
not-
like a hit or miss when it comes to the limestone. Like there's sometimes I'll be like, okay, this is good, and there's times that I'm like, God, when I really enjoyed it, I don't like it drenched with the limestone. And I actually really enjoy this, so I'm interested to see how I'm gonna like this. But Kevin's gonna know that I want a neat pour if I don't like this.
Right. Of course, and a lot of them, especially at 100 proof like that, it does kind of mess up the whiskey. It does make it too light, and since it was light to begin with, I'm pretty sure it's gonna mess it up.
And
But
please
I
forgive
try.
me that I'm still looking down. I'm actually kind of trying to sideline on looking up some extra details on this. So that's the only reason why I'm looking down.
And I will say this, in adding the drop of the limestone water, I haven't tasted it yet, but as weedy as it smelled before, when we added that drop of water, it literally smelled like I opened a fresh packet of corn grits. Like that's what it smelled like to me.
I also smell a little bit of ripe berry, or not ripe berries. You know what I'm saying? Like not quite ripe berries. The water did make it smell a little berry, which is usually what I like. I like a fruity smell, some kind of smell to it. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, like you said, it only had the smell of kind of like grain. You know what I'm saying? Corn, grain, wheat.
Yeah.
It smelled real grain, but the drop of water made the fragrance smell better. I wonder what the taste is going to do to it.
Well, I just had it and it definitely took out the wheat a little bit,
It definitely did mute the wheat.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as weedy as it was to begin with, which, frankly, for this application, I do not enjoy.
Yeah.
That splash of water to me
Messed it up.
killed all of the positives that this bottle exemplified and highlighted the negatives. It tastes very young now. It also, what little complexity it had, because it had very little complexity to begin with.
Okay.
Now that's completely gone. It tastes a little flat. I would not recommend a drop of water with this bourbon, which means conversely, I wouldn't recommend you dropping a couple of cubes in there either, because you're going to eventually get.
And that's for me. I'm not a fan of lime water or cubes or nothing like that. I just like it straight from the source, man. To what I'm able to enjoy, you know, what's described in the
And
bottle.
just to sideline
Keith
on
is a
this.
purist.
I'm purist all the way.
So if you're a purist out here, this is the guy you need to listen to, because
Oh, yeah.
he hates putting water.
I hate
Like
adding
I
water.
saw him cringe when I dropped that little drop of water in his
Yeah,
cup. He hates that right here.
Yeah.
But he likes it just like it is. If it sucks, it sucks. If it's good, it's good. But he likes it just like it is, and that's the wonderful thing about having 4 or 5 people here to be able to review a bottle, because all of us have a different kind of feel on stuff.
Yeah.
I actually disagree. I liked it with the water in it. The water actually made it taste a little fruity, made it taste more like a Heaven Hill product. Sorry, hey Heaven Hill. But it made it taste more like a Heaven Hill product. It made it taste more fruity and a little more sultry. It brought out a little bit of the sugar in it, so and muted the grain, which is exactly what you liked about it. Probably.
See, to me, the water stripped what little character it had. Neat, I actually really enjoyed it. I'm not a wheated bourbon fan, but neat, I loved it because it did still retain some bourbon-y characteristics to it. And when that water dropped in there, it just kind of
It made it into
over.
a more of a tasting of a cooking
Right.
substance, where you get the flavors, but you don't get the backbone of actually having that bourbon taste.
Yeah.
And so, even though it showed me what flavors it's kind of working with a little uniquely, which was very unique, so I'm not going to knock it on it, but it's something I still probably would have still covered my glass on having those water drops on it. So I probably still stick to, Kevin, you owe me a new pour.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes, of course.
you guys ever make grits, corn grits,
Yes.
and
get them
don't
from
put
the
enough
real
salt
place.
in them?
Oh yeah, you get that.
That's
high
what it tastes
grade.
like.
That's what it tastes like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I just want to let y'all know. I want to correct myself. This is a big bold bourbon, aged 5+ years in number 4 char, 53-gallon barrel. So it was 5+ years.
So
We would think it was more 2 to 4, right?
5+ years means that it's probably averaging 6 years on the distillate.
There you go.
Exactly.
Because if it was any more than that,
They would say it, right?
Because
Yeah.
age sells bourbon. So we're probably looking at bourbons range from 5 years to 7 years on, which still makes a pretty young distillate. Yeah, you know, the water to me muted the few things that I actually liked about it.
I would agree.
Now it says here, their tasting notes for what they said was toffee and pancake batter on the nose, which I do get the pancake batter, I don't get the toffee, but pancake batter is like what you were saying.
I
wheat
would
and
agree.
grain.
I don't pick up the toffee flavoring. I taste more of the grainage, but when you add the water to it, it kind of muted a lot of the flavors, which made it even more further from the toffee flavoring, in my opinion.
Right. And then it said the palate is pleasant and warm with candied pecans. I don't get candied pecans or pecans, however you say it. I know from North I say pecans.
Pecans,
Pecans, right, yeah, however you
New
say
Jersey style.
it. Yeah, New Jersey style, but I don't get the pecans either.
Yeah, I didn't get any pecan notes from it.
I didn't get it, but it
I
was
don't
actually
get any
really
nuttiness,
smooth.
period, right, yeah.
It was really
Just straight
smooth,
wheat
and
grain.
I was pleasantly impressed.
Now, I want to let y'all know this is handcrafted from a mash bill of 71% corn, 21% wheat, and 8% malted barley. So it's 71 corn, 21 wheat, and 8% malted barley. The price on it is price point is about $60.
So for all of you that are keeping score, after we heard that mash bill, what, 71% corn?
Corn, right? It's high corn.
When I say that it tastes and it smells like grits,
It's corn grits.
it's because
It's
of that
71%
very, very
corn.
high corn content. Like you saying that mash bill makes perfect sense because
And
it's
there's zero
exactly
rye.
what it tastes like.
And there's 0 rock.
And there's zero rye, so there's
So-
no spice. There's no what the reason that I like rye bourbons, right? Outside of the fact that it gives you a little bit of a burn and a little bit of that warm Kentucky hug that we all love so much. me being weird.
Yeah.
But that lack of rye actually makes this bourbon not complex at all. It kills the complexity.
Right.
You know, 71% corn, it tastes like corn. It tastes
Flavor comes from the rye. The rye brings the flavor, right?
It is
so when you have
highly
zero rye, you
complex
have zero
to it.
flavor,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, to the bourbon. The sweetness comes from the corn, which I don't know what happened to the sweetness here. I think if they left it a couple more years, I'm a proponent of, and I say this all the time on all my posts. 12 years, something happens in 12 years. 12 years, a bourbon goes and flies up. If they let this sit 12 years, I think it'd be something I really like.
I would actually agree. When something hits
Yeah.
around that beyond 12-year mark, it is like a different complex that it would deliver on that taste palette. So to be the 5-year, I actually was impressed.
So Smooth Ambler, if you want to let this sit for 12 years or 10 years, call me, hit up West Atlanta Bourbon Society, send us a sample, and we'll resample it. And I bet I'll be your best fan. Right now, this is your best fan. So you need to send us samples out of the way. But that was our shameless post, right?
Best fan is actually a good connection.
But so seeing that this is at a $60 range-ish per bottle, would you buy the bottle, buy it at a bar first, or is it a bust for you? We'll start down at the end with the young lady down there.
I will buy the bottle actually. This
At
one I was
$60.
actually impressed. Keep the lime water to the side. I will buy the bottle, definitely. Bar, I don't know. It's like a 50-50, honestly. Just because there's so many good bottles out there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's going to overwin some of the bottles that are out there. It just depends on what the bar is actually carrying. So it's like a 50-50 chance that we get it.
Let me start this out by saying that I enjoy the neat tasting of this bottle. At $60 for what's probably a 6-year-old distillate that lacks body, flavor, and character, I actually would not buy this bottle. And part of that
Don't
may
worry,
be,
you can drink it at my house.
part of that is probably my actual feel for the bulk of the Smooth Ambler line. Smooth Ambler has put out phenomenal bourbons that cost $40, $50 with 10 plus years of age. They made a rye that was 7 years that ranged about $45 to $50. That was absolutely phenomenal. And for this to be at a price point that's slightly more than that, knowing the type of products that they have put out before, even though I think those were sourced and this is their own distillery.
Right.
The value for me isn't there. That being said, I would not be opposed to buying this at a bar. I think it would be absolutely phenomenal in an old fashioned or as your base on any bourbon cocktail, because it would allow some of those other ingredients to shine and you still get that weedy character.
Mm-hmm.
So I did enjoy the bottle, but at $60 I wouldn't be adding it to my bar.
Don't worry, he still can come to my house and drink it.
And I drink all of it.
And that speaks some volume on it because both these two will be at the house drinking it
Well,
still.
yeah, she's my wife, so I would definitely drink
He
the
doesn't
bottle.
have a choice.
I would drink the bottle, but I would use it as a good, like you said, like a cocktail, like put it in an old fashioned. I would even put it in my coffee for crying out loud. I mean,
Honestly, I think
good.
it's a great thing, like he's saying, like the coffee thing.
I'll
Like
put it in my coffee.
Keith is a heavy mixing his coffee, so trust me, if you got some recommendations on particular bottles for some coffee, this is the gentleman to forward them over to because we're heavy on our
Every
coffee,
morning coffee.
on having some really
I
good
make some coffee
drinks
every morning,
with
yeah.
our bourbon. So
I have
definitely
one
talk
for
to us.
coffee.
For coffee.
But
Yeah, oh my God.
let me let it return back over to him. So.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm with John on that pretty much. Like I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't buy it. I mean, yeah, it's good for cocktails and mixing and stuff. Other than that, and it's a good bottle, but I just couldn't pay $60.
Yeah, it's a good bottle.
It's good.
And if this bottle costs $40, I'd buy it all day at 40.
I'm
At
treating them
60
both for their birthday.
At
Don't
60,
worry,
I'd
they'll
have
get
to
it.
pay. What about you, Kevin?
Both of them get it.
So me, I tend to spend a lot on bottles, right?
Yes, you do.
Everybody-
$60 is nothing.
$6 right? But
Which, by the way, if you have some good tastings, you want to join over to Kevin. He's the guy to talk to because we're really good at incorporating some different bottles out here.
Yes, please send me your tastings. We'll taste them. We'll review them. We'll send you back some samples that we have. I'm a dummy that spent $2,000 on a 45-year-old bourbon. I love it.
Which,
it's
by
fantastic.
the way, I'm working on jacking from him.
Right. She has every time she comes over here, she wants a sample of it, and I'm siphoning it out. That's
Don't
the one
worry,
bottle.
I've gotten a couple of tastings from him.
That's the one bottle I have to fight her about. But I mean, like on everything, when it gets to a certain point in the bourbon, I do start to deal with price. And I do think you're right. The price point of this was a little off because it is a younger bourbon. It more tastes like the pot still Willet, or in that category, which is like the $30 bourbon category.
Well, and I'm glad that you brought up the pot still Willet.
Right.
The pot still Willet, those are about the level at which I would put this bottle, and they're half the price. I mean, not necessarily saying that it's a better bottle, but for crying out loud, you can get a bottle of Wild Turkey that averages 9 years for $25.
You can get a bottle of 1792 for that.
You can get Wild Turkey 101.
Get some good
Right.
Willet, too.
You get Wild Turkey 101, 1792. Willet Pot Still, which is MGP juice. It's not Willet's actual juice.
Yeah.
You can get all that, and it's decent, right? It's just as good as this.
Good Woodford,
Right. Woodford.
There's some definitely good bottles that could probably go below this price range. So I do agree with the gentleman on this one, but I still would buy them.
And Woodford would be a knock up from this, I always say.
Just because I think it would be a good mix with my collection.
Right.
I will say this. Anyone that offers me a pour of this, I'm taking it. I do enjoy it. Not at $60.
I'm sending him home with the bottle.
Which, by the way,
y'all heard that.
You heard this.
Going home with him.
So if you kind of offer us a great deal, I will buy for all four. So let me know if y'all got some hookups.
Total wine.
Hey, I'm just saying, let me know, and I'll get some hookups for all the gentlemen.
But yeah, so that's how I feel.
Good
So then,
Christmas gift.
then now we get to the point with how would we rate this? Between 60 being drain pour and 96 being the best bourbon you've ever had in your life, God's nectar of the gods, God's titty milk. How would you rate this? We'll start again with the.
Now let's start from the left, only because I may be a little shocker.
Shoot.
So go
okay.
ahead.
Because I'm afraid of that. Because I would put this in like the 72 range.
And see,
I'm a low ball, 71, 72.
I think that's harsh.
I do.
I would agree.
That's why I didn't want to
But
start with
it's
me.
okay. But that's okay. That's his
Because
opinion.
I already knew I was at like a 71, 72. Yeah.
I'm in the 80s, man. I'm gonna say honestly, 82.
It's funny that Keith said that. I definitely feel like Kevin, you were very harsh on it. It's a very smooth
It's
drink.
good. It's a good drink.
It is very weedy. It does lack a little bit of complexity. For me, it's gonna be in the 82 to 85 range.
Yeah. Yep.
With 82 actually being what I was prepared to rank it. It is not, God's teeth milk, as Kevin would say. But it is a quality stand-up bourbon. And if the price point was a little bit lower, I feel like everyone's ratings will be a little bit higher. For in terms of just actual rating the juice, you have to kind of take the price out of that. Like what's in the bottle, how does that taste? And for me, that's about 82.
I'm gonna bump mine up to 76 because
No,
I think
we're gonna keep it
mix
as
and match.
original
I just
because
want to
that's
say.
what it is. But honestly, okay, so as the gentleman kind of pointed out with the price range, I mean that is something you gotta weigh in. Like I will go buy it, but at the same time, I'm gonna rate it probably an 87, only because it's not God's milk, but is phenomenal being the age that it is to deliver what it gave on the different level. It's not over sweet. You get a little different mix on it. You get the wheatness.
Mm-hmm.
You get that grain complexity. And I was very impressed on how much of not too heavy a bite it was, being so young.
Yeah.
And yes, it is a high price range, so I would love to give it a higher score, but that price does pull it down a little because I think as the gentleman said, it could be priced point probably a little less, probably 45, 50. I kind of would think would be a little more reasonable.
Yeah.
At the same time, I still would treat all 4 to the bottle, but
And I drink
87.
it. I would drink it. Remember that. If this bottle was $40, it'll live in my bar all the time.
Okay, so I'm gonna revise
FYI,
my,
this is a business owner, by the way.
and I'm gonna revise my number again. I'm gonna go up to 79. Okay, because
We're wearing them down. We're wearing them down.
Again, I think it is a great mixing bourbon.
It
Great
is
mixing
worth
bourbon.
pointing out different points that he's taken in consideration, I would say.
I've drank a lot of different things in bourbon.
Now,
My mouth has tasted
now
some
let me ask
uber
you
expensive
this.
stuff.
On all
So,
3 gentlemen
yeah.
now, if I gave this to you at Christmas, would this be something you would be presently showing off, or would be just left on the shelf?
On the shelf.
Left on the shelf. I'd be like, oh, that's so nice.
On the shelf.
If you
Unless they ask.
gifted me,
If they ask, I'm like, it's a good drink.
I would re-gift it to John.
if you gifted me this for Christmas, it'd be gone by New Year's. Because at that point, again, what
Now,
I
by
want
the
to
way, you
stress.
heard my husband over there, right? So that means the bottle's gonna be left for me, right?
Exactly. What I like to stress
She's gonna hold
is
him to that.
it is a good
I am,
bourbon.
but it's not gonna last.
For me, it's a good bourbon, but it's not a good bourbon at $60. If it's gifted to me, I paid nothing for it, and it's a phenomenal bourbon.
There we
It's
go.
true.
So pretty much all in all we're saying is lower the price down a little.
I would adjust your pricing just a little because you definitely have some more buyers
Just a
out
tad.
there, especially the people that are a little more fluent with the world of bourbon and whiskeys, that you probably want to do a little adjusting. You definitely get some more people buying it.
And again, I've tasted a lot of things. So I've tasted the Final Reserve, the 45-year-old bourbon, some of the really
By the way,
Holy
he's
Grails
going to
of
give it to
bourbon,
me
right?
one day.
Right. I tasted some Holy Grails, the Heaven Hill, William Heaven Hill, 5th edition, which is fantastic in my opinion. Like, I've tasted some really good bourbons. So I'm a jerk at this because I've tasted really, really good bourbons, and maybe this is young. Again, I ask you, Smooth Ambler, if you hold this 12 years and send me another sample, I will recant what I'm saying here today. Because I do believe at 12 years, something happens to bourbon, and it does something really, really weird. Which I really think if this sat 12 years, this would be a fantastic
Smooth
bourbon.
Amber, we may need to do a tasting at your location.
Call
So,
me.
Let's talk.
Send me a text. Call all of us.
Definitely.
We're all hooked in on West Atlanta Bourbon Society, so we'll all come up there. We will have a group of at least 12 people that will come up there and see about you.
Give you a solid review.
A solid review. We have no problems doing that. You know what I'm saying? You've seen our reviews. You can look back. There's a few people that are staples here, but most of us fluctuate in and out. We have a good 12 to 16 people that review these bottles with us, including guest reviews from guest people. So please take that to note and send us up there. But I don't want to beat up Smooth Ambler at all. I think y'all are a great product. Y'all do great with what you do. I've just tasted too much to know that it's anything, you know, I don't know. Like I said, I do think it's a great mixing bourbon. I do agree with John on that. So
Yeah, but it's and when he says great mixing bourbon, right? We're talking high-end cocktail bar bourbon.
And I was about to
Right.
actually piggyback off the back of that.
You know,
It was
not
like
not
your
old number 7
I
Jack
know
and
Coke,
Coke.
yeah, Jack and Coke.
We're talking about going
please
to a
put your
premium
Coke to the
cocktail
side.
bar. This would be a bourbon that I think would shine through in most bourbon cocktails. It doesn't lean too far one way or another that it would overpower any drink. It would really complement any drink to me.
you would.
The softness of the body because of that high corn and high wheat mash bill without that rye, it's gonna make it a smooth sipper on anything. So it'd be great in a cocktail. It's great standalone. I personally wouldn't put any water in it.
Me neither. Well, no.
If they drop the price on it about
You see
$20,
Keith's face did not
I'd buy it
react.
all.
Yeah.
Believe that one.
I actually like the water a little bit. The water gave it a little
That's
bit
the
of
water
fruity-
guy
yeah.
all over there.
Sometimes. Now I've said water screwed up a few of the bourbons
Yes,
we tried.
yes. I
Like
will
the Eagle Rare,
justify yes.
Buffalo Trace Antique, it screwed it up completely.
Well, why would you put water in that? That's just sacrilege.
We had to try it. We had to do it, right? Yeah. But I wouldn't have done it. Right? I would never do that again, right?
Well, you know how to reach us, so we're always here to answer any of the questions at the end of the review. Look forward to talking to you. It was kind of a longer review, but we're kind of catching up on John joining us.
There he is.
And
John back!
staying awake over here, so we gotta make sure my husband's awake over here, John's actually here, and Kevin's over there with his water.
I want to see if we can do one more review before we finish of my favorite stuff in the world.
Well, no, catch it on
I'll change my opinion on the next one. Okay.
I was gonna say catch us on the next row.
Yeah. All right.
I might be there.
Drink more bourbon, guys.
All right.